If someone were to ask me, Shantae, what are some things that you do intentionally? What are some things that you do intentionally that help you manifest more effectively and efficiently? Meaning, help you make the goals that I desire, that I write, that I think about, my goals, a future outcome, to make a future stated outcome. What are the things that I do to help ensure that a future stated outcome happens the way that I want it to happen? Like, what are some things that I do to help improve the probability of that? Because, and if you were to ask me that question, you're asking the right person, because I'm very intentional. I'm very intentional about how I live my life. And honestly, if I really could start, I would say the first thing on my journey when I got into mindfulness back in like 2018 is when it really kind of started. That's when the exploration started, I would say. And then I really got into it in 2019. Meaning, I went from being curious about it to deciding to learn about it to actually doing it in my life. Like having times where I just sit and set a timer and meditate for at least 15, 20 minutes. I would do that several times a week. And gradually I would do it more and more, and then I would start doing it in different ways. So I'm not just, sitting in stillness and silence. No, I'm listening to music mindfully. I'm eating my food mindfully. I'm having an increase of moments where I am in the present moment. I'm not judging the present moment, and I'm doing it on purpose. I know what I'm doing, and I'm just observing it. I'm aware of it. There's a certain feeling that you get when you achieve awareness. It feels like something. I now recognize what it feels like. And so therefore, because I understand what it feels like, I intentionally activate it more and more. And the way that I activate it is by, in addition to the practices, right? Because the practices are important. Like setting aside 5-10 minutes a day. If you're starting out, if you currently do not have, and that's a question, raise your hand if you currently do not have a mindfulness routine. Like if you don't have at least one, right? Raise your hand if you don't have at least one mindfulness routine in your life. And it's okay. Like don't feel bad about it if you don't. And if you do, great. I want to teach you how to get more, right? Because the goal is progression. It's not, I got enough. It's learning the little tips and tricks, little hacks. To me, they feel like hacks. I resonate with the language, and maybe this isn't your language, but the language that I hope you can relate to, and that's the only reason I'm saying this, is because I want you to relate to it. The language that resonates with me it's like a brain hack. It's like an environment hack. It's like a life hack. And the more I do these things, I notice the outcome. I've been measuring it. This is what I used to do for a living. So this is just how I am. I'm being me in ways that ultimately really, really benefit me. So the first thing that I did on my journey was I gained understanding. And the understanding came with curiosity, and the curiosity came from a very natural place to just want to know more about this topic. Why? Because I could understand the efficacy. I could understand the why. Why should I do this? What's going to change in my life if I bring mindfulness into my life? How is my life going to change? That's what people want to know. How is it going to change? I can tell you how it's going to change. It's going to change by you becoming way more confident. I am way more confident now than I used to be. And I've always been a very confident person. If you talk to people that have known me for years and years and years, they'll tell you that one of my traits that people often tell me is that you're very confident. I have that naturally. I come from a very confident family. Like my whole family is like me times, all in their own way. We're all very confident people, very self-assured. We have our insecurities, and everybody has their own little different one. But I mean, like my dad was a professional kickboxer. My mom works in investment banking. My bonus dad is a Navy veteran and engineer. And my bonus mom is like, she literally is a superhero to the things that she did to assist my father when he was literally dying. It's you couldn't believe the type of resilience that it took for her to get through that. I come from people that know what they're talking about, and so I noticed that even though I had a aspect of that, it has just burst wide open. And the beautiful thing is it's infinite. It's infinite capacity. There are no bounds. Like that's why you want to make this a lifestyle, because the more you make it a lifestyle, you start to actually achieve the bounds. Like you start reaching bounds and breaking through them and finding out, oh, there's more. Oh, there's more. Oh, there's more. It's a trip. Like for example, what's a really good example? It's like, let's start with the understanding. Okay, I'm gonna start there. You need to understand some things. And I can't tell you what you need to understand. I mean, there's some basics, but you need to have a curiosity to understand life. Just a little bit. You don't have to have it to a certain capacity. It doesn't have to take over your life. But wherever we are now, it behooves us to continue to be on a quest for understanding in such a way that it comes naturally. This is what comes in stillness. For me, like an example is when I meditate, of course my mind wanders. But here's the thing. I notice where my mind wanders. My mind wanders to like really, really good ideas. Like really good. And I test them. Sometimes I'll stop meditating just to write something down real quick. And then I'll go ask somebody about the thing that I just wrote. And they'll be like, damn, that's good. Like literally book kind. I had an idea. Don't nobody steal my idea. I had an idea one day I was meditating. And I was thinking about the color gold. Because, funny thing. Okay. So this is an example of understanding, right? Like just take the topic gold. Over the last few years, I have really just thought a lot about gold, like the color gold, the physical property gold. It's a fascinating substance. It's like the basis of alchemy, like this huge word that literally means like magic, turning something into something else, particularly turning it into gold. That's what alchemy refers to. People was like damn near killing themselves to try to figure out how to turn things into gold. That's how valuable it is. And the interesting thing is I'm from Detroit, and Detroit people love gold. Like we love gold. Let me tell you how much we love gold. When I was coming up, there was a spot called Greenfield Plaza. And if you could picture a tall office building, maybe 10 floors, and the whole outside is like glass mirror, like, kind of black, mirrors, black mirrors. That's funny. Black mirrors. Outside of the building. It's like one of those glass buildings. And it's just like this little plaza. It's like 10 floors. And this building was kind of like an office building, but the offices were turned into like little jewelry stores. So if you can imagine an office building and you go to floor 5 and you have like just this wide space, all that makes up floor 5, and they've subdivided it into little small jewelry stores. And it's like a flea market for jewelry, gold jewelry, real jewelry, not cheap jewelry. No, real gold diamonds. Like it was just a huge marketplace for gold. And we would go all the time. Like I had a lot of gold coming up. I had gold, again, 14, 18 karat gold, real gold, gold chains, gold necklaces, earrings, rings, if people had nose rings, it was just very, very in vogue, the concept of gold. And even though I don't have as much gold as I used to, and the Greenfield Plaza is no longer there, it's something else now. At some point, it went away. But here's the thing about gold. Gold is a symbol. It is a symbol that is embedded in our DNA, what our subconscious and our conscious mind thinks when we see gold. When we just see it, we don't have to physically have it. The brain doesn't know the difference between you physically having something and you not physically having it. That's not the way the brain works. The brain is like a computer and a code. Gold equals this all the time. All the time. That's what it equals. And so, you could literally change it over time. But right now, our psyches believe gold to mean wealth, abundance, riches, the opposite of scarcity, opulence. It's a standard, the gold standard, the golden child. Like, think of all the things, all the movies, all the things that when they use the word gold, it means something special, royalty, draped up and dripped out in gold, rappers, everybody. It's not even just the rappers. Like, it's a cultural symbol. Happen to really highly be found in places where people have color, are of color. It's powerful. And I know that. Like, I know all of that because as I became, and I only learned most of that over the last few years. One day I was thinking about Detroit and the Greenfield Plaza. I was like, that's so interesting, and then I do a little research and just get curious about that topic, right? Like, what is your topic? What's your topic that mine is gold. And if you go in my house, I have gold everywhere. Just give you another example because I want you to, as I'm giving you examples, I want you to be thinking about what's your gold. What's the thing that when I walk into your house, it's filled with that? Because if you walk into my house, it's gold everywhere. I was just sitting here looking around my house and I was like, dang, I was like, that's gold. That's gold. That's gold. That's gold. That. I'm doing it right now. I'm like nodding my head. That, gold, go. It's literally gold everywhere. And don't try to come for me. It's not real gold. That's kind of the point. Like, it's not real gold. It's not quote unquote real gold. But it's the same symbol. It still means the same thing. Like, of course, if it was real gold, it would probably mean something even more. It would be worth more. There's tangible ways you can measure whether or not it meant more. But psychologically, the brain don't know. The brain don't care. It sees gold. It sees wealth. It sees success. It sees bounty. It sees royalty. It sees abundance. It sees, again, the opposite of scarcity. Because that's where I'm headed. That's where I set my intentions on. That's what's on my vision board. No scarcity. Done. When I do my releases, because again, my goal is gold. Is so like that's the question. What's your gold? Right? What's your gold? What is your gold in your life? What is the thing that represents that when your brain sees that thing, it thinks, we got this. Confidence. I shine. This is me. This is what I was meant to do. It might not be the final stop, but I know where I am is where I'm supposed to be. I belong where I am. And I'm going to get there, but I'm going to notice being here. What's the thing that makes you do that? You need your thing. And then you need to flood your eyes with that thing. Fun thing about color is that it's easy. Just use color. What's your color? Like, just pick a color. And then, make sure that color is visible to you. Because you told the computer, which is your brain, that this color equals that. Remember if-then statements? Any math nerds? Remember if-then statements when we was learning algebra? I love if-then statements. They're so logical. If this, then that. A 2-year-old can understand that. If red, then this. For me, red is stop. No, bad. That's me. That's my makeup. What's yours? Don't be so influenced by what other people's is. Right? I mean, except gold is kind of universal. So I don't know. I personally thought it was weird when we went from gold to white gold. I thought that was really, I'm like that. Them things don't even mean the same thing. Like, why would we want to wear something that looks less valuable? I don't understand. I never bought into that. My wedding ring, because I was married before, my wedding ring was yellow gold. It was yellow gold with yellow diamonds. Dang, I really do like gold. But that's okay. That's an example. Everything that I just said is an example of why you need to find your gold. Finding your gold is a path of understanding. The more you understand yourself, understand what makes you tick, understand how you feel, understand what makes you feel good, understand what makes you feel bad. You got to get into it. Like Quincy Jones said, you got to go down in the basement on yourself. You got to go at the bottom of the note. You got to get to the bottom of the note. And when you get to the bottom of the note, you start to gain understanding. And once you gain understanding, you'll start making different decisions. The brain, that's how the brain works. That's literally how it works. I don't know how else to say that. So I hope you understand it. Raise your hand if that made sense. Okay, so step 1, understanding. Here's your homework. Take a moment, and we're just going to do it right now. Take a moment, maybe close your eyes and take a deep breath. Exhaling through the mouth. Once again, inhaling through the nose. Exhaling through the mouth. We do things in threes because the three has a subconscious meaning. It matters. The rule of three. So we're going to do one more collective deep breath in through the nose and out the mouth. Again, if you feel like it'll help you tap in just a little deeper, I invite you to close your eyes and just take a moment to notice how you feel. Just noticing any buzzing, any tingling. Notice where your hands are placed. Just notice different nuances about yourself that you normally overlook. Tune into yourself. As you just settle into yourself, I invite you to take a moment to ask yourself, what is my gold? What is my gold? What is the thing about me, represented in perhaps color form? What is the color that represents my best self? My most favorite self? Maybe it's a color. Keep it simple. Maybe it's a number. Maybe it's a symbol, a word, an image. Just take a moment to allow the choices to freely appear, not judging them, just noticing them. And then maybe at some point, something kind of hits. And just notice it. What is a symbol about you that makes you feel good? Take 30 seconds to think freely. As you continue to observe your thoughts, even observing the wandering mind, even observing the doubting mind, observing the excited mind, and perhaps even noticing the body. Noticing how the body reacted. Noticing anything in our being that just sort of made you glow. Becoming your own version of a golden child. An illuminated one. One that is present. Continue to breathe. And let's get ready to close this out by taking a deep breath in through the nose and out the mouth. So allowing the body to fall. Again, inhaling through the nose. Big, big audible sigh as loud as you want to be. Releasing. Noticing how you feel. And one last inhale in your own way. Inhaling and releasing. When you're ready, open your eyes if they were closed. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. Sort of tune into the body intentionally, moving the body. And that's a powerful practice. Every now and then, just sitting still and thinking about that which makes you glow, that which makes you happy. Just tuning into it. You know, and when you come out of it, life is going to be what it's going to be. But what happens is, what I've noticed in my life, when I do that, see, I know the science, my reticular activating system is being activated. It's a part of the brain. It's a filter. It filters out the information that helps you, simple human, know what to do, know what choices to make, know what not to do. Know that when you do that, that's what's going to happen, and you're willing to accept that risk. It's a huge, important, really important risk management tool. That's what the RAS system is. It's a risk management tool that works really, really well. And you can make it get better. You can fine tune it. You can machine learn it. The way you do that is with mindfulness, setting aside intentional time to be present. And then when you choose to be present with something that makes you glow, you get information, you get understanding. And then you live life differently. Suddenly, obstacles are no longer obstacles. Things that would have totally disrupted your life and thrown everything off, it just magically it resolves itself. And I'm going to close with a story. This is an example of how this happens in my life. Okay? Happens in a way where I receive favor. So this morning, today's Saturday, this morning, my son had a flight. He's headed up to Detroit to visit his grandparents for his winter break. I am not flying him to Detroit. My cousin is flying him and some of his younger cousins up to Detroit. He spent the night with his father last night. And I told his father that I would pick him up early in the morning because I wanted to make sure he got to my cousin on time. So I was like, I'll pick him up. And I decided at some point that I wanted to have breakfast with my son. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna pick him up early because I want to take him to breakfast before his trip. I want to surprise him with breakfast at one of his little favorite spots. And I wake up in the morning, I text, let him know I'm on my way. And I'm just kind of distracted because I'm running a little behind my schedule. My mind is kind of all over the place. I hadn't really meditated, just felt all over the place. So I get in my car, I drive off. I noticed my car was driving a little funny. I noticed a little sound at one point, but I didn't pay enough attention. I wasn't present with it. I was not present with it at all. Again, my mind is wandering. It's all over the place, everywhere, but with this sound that is intending to warn me that something is wrong. I drive how far it gets to get. It's raining outside. There's traffic. It ends up taking me like 30 minutes to get there. I get there, pull up, and he comes out with our son and he looks and he's like, you have a flat tire. I was like, what? He's like, your tire is completely flat. I was like, get out of here. He was like, well, how did you make it here with your tire like it was completely flat? I had no idea. No clue. That's how a lack of presence I experienced. But man, did I have favor. Because what's the first thing I say? Can you put the spare on for me? Or basically, can you take care of this? Like, what am I supposed to do? And remember, I'm starting to panic a little bit because I got to get our son to cousin's house for them to make their journey to Detroit. I can't be late. She's already doing me a solid by including him on this journey. I can't be late. I can't let this disrupt my day. So I'm looking in the car. There's no jack. The spare tire is there, but there's no jack. Luckily, he had a tire repair kit. So he put air in it, checked the pressure and everything. And he was like, you probably have a nail. He was like, go to this place. You should be able to make it home because it was sustaining air. He was like, you should be able to make it back, but definitely go to get it, get it patched, cause it's probably a slow leak, nail, da, 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 da. I'm like, all right, bet. So I get home because I decided to go early. Remember, I decided to go early. I had all this extra time. So I'm thinking, I'm like, dang, I guess I'm not going to be able to do, breakfast. So I asked Amir, our son, I'm like, Amir, did you eat breakfast? And he was like, yeah. I was like, oh. I was like, what'd you eat? He was like, cereal, eggs, bacon, potatoes, waffles. It was like, he listed like all these foods. I was like, oh, so you're not hungry right now, are you? He was like, no. I was like, oh, okay, awesome. So I have extra time now. I'm able to go home, kind of get him cleaned up a little bit more so he could be nice and fly for his trip, put the mama's touch on him, get a couple things that I had actually left at home because I forgot. I was distracted again. I'm making mistakes. That's the issue with distraction. That's the issue with the wandering mind. It's not just that it's not just that the mind wanders. It's that when the mind wanders, we make mistakes. We're not sharp. We're not on point. We're not our best self. We're not putting ourselves in a position where we can achieve our biggest dreams and goals. We can make it happen, where we can actually make the vision board come true. We know the brain reticular activating system fires off the information necessary for you to do what you need to do. And you're present enough to catch it. So then you do it. So then you get favor. Right? That's what we want to happen. Even when a disruption comes like a flat tire, even when you was not present because you've been building it up and you've been practicing it. And now you becoming kind of an expert in your own way. You starting to tap in more and more because you actually found something that you want to tap into. You do that more and more. And a RAS system. Oh my God. It's like, dog, I got you. I got you. Here's what you need to do. Go left. Go. Don't go that way. Go this way. Do this. Do that. Da 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 da. Boom. Because I chose to be in service to my son and take him to breakfast, I got a little favor. I got extra time. My tire was fixed. Got him to cuz house. Got to chop it up with her a little bit. We had a nice little girl talk session because I was early. They get on their way to the airport. I go up to the place to get my tire looked at. It is a nail in the tire, just like the man said. Amir's dad, just like he said, and the guy plugs it or patches it. I pay him $30 and I'm on my way. Grab breakfast and here I am talking to you guys about this. That was my morning. That's what it feels like for me to be illuminated, to be in my illuminated state. And yours doesn't have to look like mine. But you need to notice when yours happens and you need to give it credit. Because when you give it credit, like, boom, I'm in alignment. I noticed alignment. I acknowledged it. I said, thank you. I did the gratitude. I'm checking all the boxes to make sure the RAS system works the way it needs to work. Because that's what it likes. It likes gratitude. We've been conditioned for our RAS systems to react a certain way when it comes to gratitude. That's why we do it. Why else would we do it? Right? So, you do certain things and you get greater strengthening of that system of the brain and you start producing better results in your life. It's a science. That's why I call it a hack. It's one of the most effective hacks that you can tap into. It's being intentional about your lifestyle, practicing mindfulness in every single way that you possibly can. My word is mindfulness. I think it's just easy to remember. Put it in a nice little bucket. Because when we put it in a bucket, the brain recognizes that as this. So that's why I use the word mindfulness. Become mindful, become present more often in your life by first and foremost practicing it on a consistent basis and then noticing when you're doing it just in life, when you're actually listening to music mindfully, when you're actually focused on the thing you're watching on TV, not watching and scrolling on your phone, self-included. I'm not trying to be judgmental. I'm talking to myself. Rewinding it 17,000 times because you missed something important, but your head was down and you were scrolling. The brain don't want to do two things like that. It don't want to work that way. Stop trying to make fetch happen. Stop trying to make fetch happen. Stop trying to make the brain want to do all your little things all at one time. It's just going to burn it out. That's what happens. So you got to have a risk mitigation strategy to prevent the burnout of your brain. And mindfulness is one of them. And as I close this out, that is everything that I have to say about obtaining greater understanding Choosing something that you want to gain understanding about related to yourself, creating a symbol for that, and then putting it everywhere, flooding your eyes with it. When you do that, you're training your brain, you're training your reticular activating system to be in greater position, to notice what needs to be noticed, to do what needs to be done, to make the thing that you said you wanted to make happen. It works. I'm proof. I hope you appreciated this. If you did, let me know. Let me know it hit. It matters. It matters. It matters. It matters so that I can continue to bring you topics that resonate, that I could continue to know, like, yeah, this is helpful. This is what made it helpful. I could use a little more deeper on this. I'm a little confused by that. Help me understand this. This is what I'm experiencing in my life. Share it with me. Put it in the comments. Tell me what's going on. If nothing else, I can give you a practice. I got practice for everything. I got practice for everything. Treat me like your little, I'm not a doctor. So, disclaimer, But, it can be a bit prescriptive. So if you want to know more, let me know in the comments. Like this video.